do you look at the 12 consecutive goals that you conceded, or are you looking at the fact that you reduced a 77-point deficit to 47?
Yeah, bit of both. Yeah, I think we started well. What's frustrating is, our good's pretty good and our bad's really bad. So to come against the premiers and, the second half we win, which is great, but the discrepancy between our best and worst is something we really got to work on, because we couldn't stop the bleeding, a bit like probably Hawthorn last week in that second quarter, end of the first, and largely due to stoppages and clearance and Scoresman stoppages. So we did a couple of things at half time that worked to stop the bleeding a little bit, and then the turnover game we were okay. We held our own. So yeah, there's some stuff there we'll take from a positive point of view, but we've got to stop the bleeding a bit earlier than that.
Are you proud the team didn't roll over in the second half?
A little bit,
We've
yeah.
seen that against Geelong in the past, where you end up losing by over 100.
It was heading that way, wasn't it? Yeah. So there's a resilience piece with our players that you can clearly see, but that doesn't excuse the position we put ourselves in. So I've said this a bit, it feels like there's something there that we can work on. But the last couple of weeks in particular, we played two premiership favourites, or thereabout teams anyway, and probably just shows you where we're at in terms of where they are and where we are. And then I look at the other side and think, geez, there was some periods of the game where we held our own. So, and to do it in the last half is pleasing, because it's been a while since we've done that.
Looked like Yo's move to the midfield almost sparked you a bit at the centre clearances.
Yeah.
Is that, are you likely going to stick with him in the midfield
Well,
now?
he's a bit sore, so we'll have to see how he pulls up. So, yeah, for that period, he took centre bounces and he was playing back. So it probably does show we are missing some of our better players at the moment. And great to give some of these kids opportunities, but when you've got those types of players, Yo, Sheed, Shuey, those types, it makes Kelly a better player, and Nat Nui helps as well. So, but while they're not here, and it's been a while since we had them all together, we've got to keep getting more out of our mid-range players and keep exposing our young ones.
How hard is it?
Sorry, you go.
When you've got the momentum going against you, it's been tough in the last 18 months to stop that. There was 12 unanswered, but how much is there a part of you saying, let it play out as it is and as a learning experience, or do you shift the magnets back, you put players back to stop the initial bleeding?
Yeah.
How do you control that?
The problem with Geelong and the good teams and a lot of teams, since the 6-6 rules come in, and strategically playing an extra behind the play doesn't work. It just puts too much pressure on, the backs get aggressive, and Geelong do it really well. If you put an extra behind the play and keep him there, then they just go even harder. So we did adapt some things at half-time with our stoppages, but in general, we want to play a bit quicker. We want to bring, others into the game with handball. We don't want to go as straight as we do at the time. So there's all the things that we're working on. I thought in the second half we got that together, and probably still lost the clearance battle, but it felt like we made it harder around the stoppages.
Do you sort of scratch it? Feedback from players, do you scratch your head a little bit because you think we start well, we sort of you dominated for the first 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden go to sort of sleep for 45, and then you look at the score at half time and it's over.
I don't think we went to sleep. I think we're playing a team that has 20 premiership players in it from last year. So I think that's disrespecting Geelong a little bit. They went to a level we couldn't keep up with, which is, I think that's a fair assessment. And we need to find ways to get back into the game, at least break even, not just concede. So, the last 2 weeks have been a real challenge with the two teams we've played. But, there's 8 quarters of footy, there's probably 3 or 4 out of those 8 where we walk away thinking, geez, there's some things there that we'll use going forward. And then there's 3 or 4 quarters which weren't good enough.
Ruben Jimby's day, poked to the eye early, subbed out, got on the end of a big tackle and kicked his first goal. And sort of had it all, didn't it?
Yeah, he's learning the hard and quick way at the moment. So the sub was just an opportunity. I think he's fine, but he's been up for a little while. So hopefully that gives us enough that we can keep playing him. Not that there's a lot available underneath at the moment.
So the idea at the moment is not to rest him for coming back here next week? You'll look to
we lightened his load during the week, and to be honest, I don't know how many guys we've got available. We might not have a choice.
On that, 6 AFL listed guys in the waffle yesterday, beaten by 170 70 nearly, and
Yeah.
Elijah Hewitt goes down in the first few
First
moments.
bounce, yeah.
Yeah, is this starting to feel a bit like last year in terms of the injuries?
From an availability point of view, it feels a bit like last year, but it doesn't feel like last year with what we're trying to chase. So, yeah, I've said this a bit, and I'm sure there'll be a time when we don't talk about last year, but yeah, we're chasing different things. You know, we're just trying to stay competitive. Last year, we're going for a bit more than that now.
Is there any update on Elijah?
It's an ankle. Initially thought it wasn't too bad, but we've got to get another scan and see how it looks. So, yeah, unfortunately, we had 6 players and then 5 after the first bounce, and then they're all 20 or under. So it's not like there's veterans in the twos there. So some NGA boys as well. So, yeah, there's a battle at the moment, but we've been here before.
Oscar Allen's form, 4 goals today, he's kicked 15 for the year. I know you're not in awe of him, but
I'm not in awe of him, no.
No, yeah. But in terms of his performance, how big has he been in coming back at the start of the year to actually give you a focal point up there?
Yeah, well, these are the little wins we're getting. You know, we get some individuals who are playing footy for one, so he's come off a year off, and he'll have some ups and downs as well. The opportunities probably haven't been as strong as perhaps we would like to have given him, but for him to deliver with limited supply, and Jack's working his way into the season. Like, he'd missed 7 weeks, Jack, in the summer, so he's working his way back in. And then, Jake Waterman is the other one who's, what did he kick 4 today?
Yeah.
So that combination's working okay. Missing Ryan and Cripps is the next challenge for us, but young Long's standing up, and Petruccelli had a better second half, and Patrese Seaton had a better second half. So those things will hopefully grow as the season goes.
How pleasing was it that both Allen and Waterman were able to hit the scoreboard significantly in the same game?
Yeah, well, and Darling kicked a couple as
Yeah.
well. It's really, that's our future. So yeah, getting them the right supply. 4.5 turnovers. It seemed like there's periods today that you could lock it in your front half for a little bit, but probably for 2 and a bit quarters maybe, but not for 4. So I don't know what inside 50s were, maybe close to 50. I don't think we would have done that last year. We'd have 30, 35. So it's a small win, but we're still, it's actually quite frustrating.
Just the chasm between your best and the worst, how much do you put that down to lack of availability?
There's a few reasons, I suppose. One is that. One is we're playing Geelong and Melbourne, and one is we're not good enough. We've got to get better. We need to recognise from a leadership point of view. We've got different leaders at the moment. Can we recognise things from the coach's box and from the playing point of view to put the skids on the game? That's probably, but it's not going to be the last team that Geelong does this to. So them at their best is pretty difficult to stop. Only got to look at the grand final.
Do you get anyone back for the ball game other than him?
Yeah, maybe Boot, maybe Luke Shuey. Yeah, so yeah, we'll have to assess things and see how we go.
Oh, you mentioned the mid-range players and wanting them to step up. One's probably Jermaine Jones. How have you found his day and his season as a whole?
Yeah, showed some. He was pretty sore this week, so to get up and play was, we needed him, and he brings a different dynamic to the back half. Bit risky sometimes, but I think that's what we're chasing a little bit in the right way. So he's grown a lot in the last 2 or 3 years, and he went back halfway through last year. So he's still got a lot to learn, but I he took another step forward today.
Elliot, you mentioned sore. No injury as such, just more second game back.
We'll find out. Yeah, so he couldn't come back on.
Any other injury concerns? No.
Talk to you tomorrow. All right, thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Adam.
Thanks.